Good afternoon, students. It's nice to have you all here. I hope you're going to enjoy the lecture. And here is the slide. So the course name is Marketing and Hospitality Industries. And I am the lecturer, Dr. Industries-лекция5-англ. So today we're going to have the same outline of the lecture as usual. So at the beginning, we're going to have an overview of the previous lectures. Then we're going to focus on the new lecture. As you know, today is week 5, and the topic of today's lecture is marketing research and data. At the end of the lecture, I'm going to give you an assignment. So during the previous lectures, we have covered the definition of marketing. As we remember, marketing is a set of processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offering that have value for customers, clients, partners, and guests. Also, we mentioned that marketing starts with a human need. We mentioned that we have 3 dimensions of need, which is called need itself, wants, and demands. We mentioned that we have primary demand and secondary demand. And also we said that marketing is all about demand creation. The other thing we covered during the previous lectures is the marketing mix, which is the most commonly used marketing tool. Marketing mix can be otherwise remembered as 4 Ps, and these Ps are product, price, place, and promotion. We said that beside those 4 Ps, we have the extended marketing mix, which is used in service industries like hospitality and restaurants. And the additional marketing mix elements are physical evidence, process, and people. The hospitality marketing basically is the branch of service marketing that is about applying marketing tools and techniques in hospitality industries. We mentioned that hospitality industry product is not just a tangible object, but also an intangible service. So basically the product definition in hospitality industries extended to include experience, people, places, processes, and etc. So the hospitality industry product is about creating right feeling in the customer. So customer is the factory of service. During the last lecture, we covered the topic, which is marketing environment. And marketing environment refers to forces or variables of the outer and inner environment of a company. And we said that marketing environment as a topic can be understood or seen with the term of business environment. So business environment has, as a definition, means a totality of physical and social factors that are taken directly into consideration in the decision-making behavior of individuals and organization. We said that marketing environment is seen as different layers of inner and outer environment. And at the heart of marketing environment is the customer, which is covered by marketing mix, like product, place, price, promotion, people, physical evidence, and processes. And when we talk about business environment, it is usually seen as different layers of outer and inner environment. And at the heart of it is business itself. So the other thing we mentioned that we have 3 layers of environment. The first one is internal environment. As we said, it is an organization itself and everything within that organization. The second is external microenvironment, which refers to forces close to company. So we can include into this group suppliers, customers, marketing intermediaries, competitors, and the public. And the last level of market environment is external macro environment, which refers to larger societal processes that affect the whole microenvironment, include demographic environment, political environment, cultural environment, the natural environment, technological environment, and the economical environment. Briefly, it was what we covered during the previous lectures. And now let's get to the current lecture, which is about marketing research and data. So what is marketing research? Marketing research is the systematic gathering, recording, and analyzing of qualitative and quantitative data about issues relating to marketing, product, and services. Here I want to highlight that the term marketing research and market research are synonyms, and they can be used together, or separately, but they mean the same thing. The goal here is to identify and assess how changing elements of the marketing mix impact customer behavior. We have covered marketing mix during the previous lecture. As we said, it is about 4 and 5 P's that impact customer behavior. Here I'd like you to remember that we have like quantitative and qualitative data. Qualitative data is all about data that cannot be counted, and quantitative is data that can be counted. So this is all about numbers. So what is marketing consumer behavior? So consumer behavior is the study of individuals, groups, or organizations and all the activities associated with the purchase, use, and disposal of goods and services, and how the customers' emotions, attitudes, and preferences affect buying behavior. So basically, what does mean purchase? Purchase means buying. Use is about consuming. Disposal is about recycling or throwing the good at the end of its life cycle. Customer emotions, attitudes, and preferences, they are all about customer behavior, and we're going to cover this topic in a 2 weeks' time. So marketing research at the end will provide relevant data that is going to be later on analyzed and used during the, for example, business planning process. By the way, marketing plan is usually a part of business plan, and this course will cover the marketing plan, and we are going to, you will have to prepare a marketing plan at the end of this course, and hopefully you're going to do that in a good way. So then we have like 2 types of data. Marketing research involves 2 types of data. The first one is the primary data, and the second one is the secondary data. So primary data is all about research and information that was compiled especially for the purpose, for the need of the marketing research, the current one. And it is compiled and gathered by yourself or someone you have hired to do that. The secondary data is the data and information that can be found in like different resources online or in other places. You can find that information in like reports and studies of government agencies, different trade associations, or other businesses. For example, you can get information from like governmental state statistics. You can look through like trade associations, different ones. In hospitality industry, for example, there are associations. For example, Kazakhstan Tourist Association is the other source. Then we have like World Trade Organization and World Travel Organization, which is part of UN. And this data you gather and you find will be like secondary data, like information which was gathered on a different purpose but may affect and be helpful for your current market research. So here's like diagram that shows you what is like primary, like provides results specifically about your company or product or service, and then secondary, which involves applying results of previously completed studies to your situation. At the end, we'll have like pros and cons, and the con here is the cost of research for the primary data and primary research, and secondary research, secondary market research may result in not specific to your business results. Yeah, so these results may not be 100% applicable for your research for a business. Then we should mention about the market research techniques and methods. So market research, is basically a set of techniques and methods used to gather information. At the beginning of the lecture, we mentioned that market research is about gathering, recording, and analyzing data. So in terms of gathering data, we have different methods, and below are the most common ones. And they are surveys, interviews, focus groups, and observations. So survey is the most commonly used research method. Interviews are the most insightful ones, but they will require a lot of time to analyze data. Focus groups are useful too, but they are quite dangerous in implementation, because in order to implement a focus group, you should have a good trained mentor who will conduct the research. And the last one is the observation, which is the most powerful one, but unfortunately it has its cons and pros too. So the con of observation is about not being able to think what and know what your customer thinks. So we will cover every market research in a separate slide. So the first one is survey. So surveys ask users a short series of open or closed-ended questions. Open-ended question is the question that has no variables to choose. So the guest customer should write the answer him or herself. Closed-ended questions usually have variables that can be used. So surveys are easy and inexpensive to conduct. We can send them via email, or we can distribute different papers. So here is the example of a survey on the right hand, and on the left hand you can see the different instruments, for example SurveyMonkey or Google Docs, that will help you to collect and analyze data online. So basically on the left hand we can see the example of a survey which has three different questions. The first one is closed-ended question, which is a yes/no question. The second one is about ticking the degree of your satisfaction. The first one is very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, unsatisfied, and very unsatisfied. And the third question is an open-ended question where you can type your own idea. How can we improve the event? So basically the customer himself will be able to write the answer. The second most common marketing research method is interviews. So interview is one-on-one conversation with members of your target market. So basically it's about preparing questionnaire, questions, open-ended, and then asking your member of your target market. And this method can be very insightful and full of different so-called aha moments. So when you as an interviewer will find a lot of interesting things about your target market. Basically, the interviews are usually done when you want to research your market and understand it in a very deep way. So here I want you to see two pictures. The first one is the common one, which was used before the Corona crisis. So we usually found the member, which suits and represents our target market, and then we'll interview him in person. Right now during the Corona crisis, it's going to be quite difficult, and the new tools like Zoom will help us. Of course, in-person interview and Zoom or Skype interview, both of them have pros and cons. For example, the in-person interview may not only give you information, direct one, but also you can see the emotions of your customer and understand and see not only what he says, but also what he feels about the problem. When it comes to the Zoom or Skype interview, you will not be able to sense the feeling, especially if the connection is not as good as it should be. But it can be more convenient, so you can interview more people and gather more data. Talking to people and interviewing people in person may be very time consuming. Arranging, finding a place, then talking and interviewing may require a lot of time, and like changing the context may be a problem too. The third most common research method is focus groups. So focus groups is about bringing together a carefully selected group of people who fit a company's target market. So basically you should find not only one person, but a group of people who fit your target market, and you see them as current or potential customers who can give you a lot of insights about the market, about their needs, and about the level of satisfaction. Here we should say that in order to conduct focus groups, you should have a trained moderator who will lead the conversation. The problem of focus groups is that it has a lot of biases, and these biases may ruin the result and make the outcomes of the focus group, like research, not useful and problematic to implement in the future. The next thing we want to cover is that the focus groups may have different biases, different problems that may affect the result of the research. And here you can see the two most common biases that may ruin the result of the research. The first one is dominance bias. Dominance bias is when a forceful participant influences the group's opinion, and at the end of the research you will gather not the objective opinion of the group, but you will get a subjective opinion of one person. The second bias is moderator style bias. So it is when the moderator is not well trained and he influences the final result of the research. So at the end you will not get the information of the common information of the target market, but you will get the biased opinion of the moderator. So here's the picture of a focus group. So we have a group of people, and we have one moderator with a pencil, who is going to write it down. And this is how it usually looks like. And the fourth most common marketing research method is observation. So observation is all about observing your target customers in an ideal place where they engage with your product, service, or business organization. It is when you as a researcher do not affect or influence your target customer. You just try to note their behavior and try to understand what they're doing, and later on try to analyze that. The downside of observation is that you can't get inside the heads of your target customers, guests, and the others. That is why surveys and interviews will still be required, but you'll be able to triangulate and compare the results of other researchers, and observation may be the last and one of the most important one, which will verify the outcomes of the other researchers, surveys and interviews. So the interview is all about observing people from the side by not somehow affecting or influencing them. So sometimes it's said as fly on the wall. So you try to make sure that the customers and the people who are being observed do not see you as part of research. So they don't think that they are being observed or researched, and they act in a normal way without any restrictions. And the last thing we need to cover is the marketing research process, which consists of 5 interconnected steps. The first step is identifying the problem. So it's all about finding the problem to solve, writing down the project objectives, and choosing the research questions. The second step is about developing the research plan, basically understanding what information is needed, choosing the research and analysis method, and then understanding who are the responsible parties. The third step is conducting the research, basically gathering the data. So at first you should make a review of secondary data which is available. Then you should collect the primary data. You should remember what suitable method or technique is required. For example, you can choose the survey method, or you can choose focus groups or interviews or observation or the other ones. Then you should analyze and report findings. So as soon as you collect the data and you finish collecting data, you should prepare it, format it and make it ready for the analysis. Then interpret the data, understand it, find the findings, what are the results, and then write it down as a report. And at the end, you should write your recommendations. So the fifth step is taking action. So it's all about thinking and planning. So how the results will be implemented, or will they be implemented at all? Then evaluate your options. So what are options available depending on the current situation of the company in the market? And then you should adjust your strategy to the findings and execute them. Today we're going to have 2 main assignments. The first one is going to be for the practical class, and the second one is going to be for your self-study. So for the practical class, I want you to identify a market research problem, basically find the service market opportunity. Then I want you to describe the service market opportunity, basically say why the problem is worth researching, think about the data needed, and design a 10-question survey. During the practical class, we will spread your surveys among your course mates so they may fill it. And then we're going to discuss whether you did a good job or not. Maybe there is something to improve. And that will help you later when we will design the marketing plan. For the self-study, I want you to gather information about interviews, focus groups, and observations. And during the practical class, we will talk about them too, but in less detail than a survey. So that was your assignments. And if you have any questions, we have time for a Q&A session. Okay, and thank you for attending the lecture. It was my pleasure. See you next week. Bye.